Good morning guys, Alvin, Mark, welcome to Singapore. We're here in Katong and guess what? It's the annual solar eclipse day. Today is Boxing Day and just a little bit about that. You know, when I was a kid and growing up during the Rocky Balboa movie series, I always thought that Boxing Day is always this big fight day and that everyone's just watching this really awesome boxing match somewhere in the world, maybe in America, Las Vegas, maybe. Yeah, until very much later on I realized it's all about the packing up from Christmas. See, because in Singapore everyone packs up immediately. We open our packages on Christmas morning. By an hour's time, it's all packed and cleared. Anyway, today is the 26th of December. It's a global event. The sky's a little bit dim, and that's happening because of the annual solar eclipse. So this is really interesting. All around me it seems like this I've placed a tint or a LUT, a LUT filter on my video, on my Final Cut editing software, but no, this is all raw. It's a warm kind, almost like the feel that we're living on Mars or experiencing Martian atmosphere. So what happens is that the moon passes between the sun and the earth at the maximum eclipse. The moon is smack dab right in the middle of the sun. Of course the moon is a little bit, tad bit smaller than the sun when it's aligned. Of course the sun is much bigger, but from our point of view, when we look up, it almost covers it. This happens only once in a lifetime, say 2,000 years ago or 2,000 years later. Because of the movement of the sun and the earth and all of that, this might not happen, you know. So we're living in a great period in time to witness these things. So when I stepped out, guess what? I just realized everything was really dim. I thought it was some apocalyptic movie that I'm in. Yeah, really funny. So I thought for this episode, since the path of the eclipse actually falls right around the equator where Singapore is, I'm going to feature it in this episode. How cool is that? Woohoo! So not all the time the path hits the same part of the earth. Consulted Google and it says that the partial eclipse, or the whole thing, started at 11:27 in the morning, and the maximum eclipse is at 1:23, which just happened. So now it's clearing off. So the full eclipse happens for about 2 minutes, from 1:22 to 1:24 in the afternoon. And I think it's great here in Southeast Asia, especially in Singapore with this time zone, because we get to see it during the noon time, whereas maybe all those in other parts of the world will not be able to see this because it's night. The whole entire partial eclipse ends at about 3:18 this afternoon. So a couple more hours of dimness, but it will get brighter and brighter. And that's an N box from Honda. I think there are only like 3 of them in Singapore. Really cool. So I've actually come out of the studio to see what's going on, and I do see people around. The advent of having smartphone cameras and being able to point it to the sky and change aperture size really helps, because you can't really look at the sun. And every year there are about 2 solar eclipses. So the next one will be on the 21st of June 2020. Watch out for that. I think that will hover just above Bhutan, Mongolia, around that region. So if you're there, do watch out for it. And speaking of watching, never stare at the sun during an eclipse, or never stare at the sun at all, especially during an eclipse with shades or anything like that. You can use your phone and then switch the autofocus and point it to the sun so that the overall brightness of the sun dims down for you to see the ring of fire, since this is the annular eclipse which means that the moon is actually smaller than the sun because of the distance, and you actually see that ring of fire. That's what we're seeing, versus the total eclipse where the moon is larger than the sun, so you don't see the ring of fire. Never stare at the sun directly. Big warning, because the UV rays might burn your retina. You may even go blind. So this is Alvin Mark from Alvin Mark channel. I hope you love what I put out here, especially this episode where it's a little bit different with animation involved, done by me. If you like what I put out, do comment and do give a thumbs up. And of course, if you haven't, please subscribe, because that's what it's all about. Until the next episode, guys. This is Alvin Mark on Boxing Day. Just a few more days to the end of the year. Stay tuned to the next episode where I cover Urban Sketches, Singapore's last sketching event of the year at the Botanic Gardens. See you then.